If I had to start learning coding all over again, I would do things very differently. When I first started, I wasted so much time on random tutorials, switching languages, not doing projects, lack of a path, and trying to find the perfect course. Spoilers, there isn't one. And there were so many things that I did wrong or just did not do. It is kind of insane when I look back at it now. So a little backstory and a bit about my tech background before I explain anything. I am a final year CS major student and my coding journey was, well, rough. I was just a regular dude spending way too much time on video games. At some point, I decided to actually learn to code, and yes, even though they had an intro C class in our first semester, I didn't take my classes seriously, so I learned absolutely nothing. Later on, I used Python for data analytics, built some cool projects, dipped into web development, and moved to machine learning. But the start was messy. So here's a step-by-step guide to how to make your journey not completely like mine. Pick one language and stick to it. But choose a path or at least understand it before picking a language. I know a lot of people will say don't overthink and pick any language because once you are good with it, it will be a lot easier to learn any other language, which is half true. But understanding various career paths gives you an idea of what you want to be and what exactly you should learn. For me, data was the attraction. Analysis and playing with data was my choice. So for this, I chose Python. Now Python is extremely versatile. You can use it for web development, data analysis, machine learning, automation, the list goes on. But having the surface goal of even just data related stuff gave me a simple path. A thing I see beginners struggle with is just not knowing what to do. Try to look up all the major paths in computer science and see which attracts you the most, and this attraction can be of any form, where like mine it could be as I was interested, or even if it's just for money. It doesn't really matter that much. And I am not a believer of choosing something just because you are interested in it. Don't binge tutorials. Do projects. I spend weeks binge watching tutorials after tutorial for Python. But guess what? Watching 10 hours of tutorials does not equal learning. Here's the trick. Watch a little, then build even the simplest stuff. This was probably my biggest mistake, which I found out in a very hard way. First, I learned Python basics from 3 different sources, but after completing them, I stopped. I took a 3 to 4 months break, and guess what? While learning from tutorial, I did zero project, absolutely none. I just copied the tutorial and tried to understand the theory part. But then after the break, I decided that I should dive into data analytics frameworks. But then after just going through my notes, I realized I barely know any Python. I had forgotten most of it. I just couldn't code. This was so bad that I had to rewatch one of the tutorials and go through all my notes. So that right there wasted a lot of my time. But after consulting with some of my friends, I found out that it was probably because I never put what I learned into use. So that time I did just that. I was building simple projects left, right and center. And I kid you not, learning through projects felt so much more natural and actually fulfilling. It felt like deep learning and not just memorizing. Even the hardest concept that I had hard time figuring out started to get so much easier to understand. It was insane. So after ending a major part of any tutorial, pause and make something with what you just learned, even if it is super simple. Because you are not creating this to put it on your resume, you are instead doing these projects to help you learn and understand better. And also about the note part, yes, please take notes on what you learn and your mistakes. Whether digitally or on a notebook, it helps a lot with consistency. And it can also act like your own cheat sheet. Start small, then level up. Don't aim to build a full stack web app on one day or whatever it is you are doing. I started with simple data analysis projects, analyzing basic data sets, scraping weather data, automating simple, boring stuff with Python or anything similar like that. Later on is when I slowly moved on to a more complex EDAs and then to machine learning programs. Obviously, this will vary depending on the field you are in, but there is always a beginner, intermediate and advanced level in all programs. The key is to build usually things that you are having problem with or you need in real life. I think that's one of the superpower of us developers and programmers, is that if we don't find something that we want, or even if we find we don't really like them, then we have the ability to create a better version, a more suitable version for ourselves, which is one of the best ways to learn and level up your programming skills. Common mistakes beginners make. Okay, so rapid fire. Here are some common mistakes I made, so you don't have to. Jumping into frameworks too early, that's one. Always stick to basics first. Even though you know what you will move on to, at least go through the most important basics. Don't just jump steps at all. Another one is tutorial hell. Watching endlessly without building. This is a problem, as I said, I also had, and a lot of people actually have. I don't think watching multiple tutorials is bad, but only watching tutorials and only copy pasting from tutorials is really bad. Learn how to implement the things you have learned from the tutorial yourself into even your own ideas, and by that I don't mean you need unique ideas, but not the exact thing shown in the tutorial. Another thing that I see a lot of people using as pretty much an excuse is that they are waiting to be ready. They will not do something because they think they are not ready for it. Like they think they need to have the highest level of knowledge in order to even start building the simplest thing, which is not true. And for some reason a lot of people do that. They're like, let me learn everything first, like let me learn this full list first and then only I will put it to work, which is so bad, which is like major waste of time. You will never ever feel ready. And lastly, similar to the waiting to be ready one, comparing yourselves to advanced devs, as I said, that is not usually a good thing because everyone learns at their own pace, everyone works at their own pace, thinks at their own pace. When you are looking at other developers, try to get motivation from them rather than comparing yourself to them and thinking, oh my god, they are so much better, they know so much more, I could never learn this. Do not do that ever, not just in actually programming sense, but in anything else. Try to go for a healthier, more empowering comparison rather than just comparisons that will only hurt you. How to stay consistent. Consistency beats intensity. I used to think I needed to code for 4 to 5 hours a day, which, well, is actually wrong. I mean, you could say it's right if you are like working on a major project, but when it comes to learning, that is definitely not what you have to do. I made more progress coding 30 to 60 minutes daily than doing occasional long sessions. Because here's the thing, a lot of people that are working these long hours a day or learning the long hours each day are just trying to brute force it. You know, they are not actually learning it. They're just going through the videos, going through the tutorials, not learning it, and they think if I do this for 5 hours for like a month, I will know everything, which is not right. And usually for most people, about 1 to 2 hours at maximum daily learning is enough. Here's a simple plan you can use. I would say for weekdays, learn for about 30 to 60 minutes, and on weekends, try to go for more than 1 hour, up to 2 hours. Now obviously this will differ depending on what you are doing, because this weekdays, weekends is usually for students or people who have other things to do in their weekdays. But if you are just someone that is in a vacation and don't really have anything to do, then you can do 2 hours every day. That's fine, but try to keep a balance. Track your progress, celebrate small wins, and over time you will start to enjoy coding. It will become kind of addictive, but in a good way, the good addiction. So that right there is a brief guideline of how I would exactly approach learning coding in 2025 if I had to redo all of it. No fluff, no endless tutorial watching. Start with one language, build stuff, even if it is super simple, stay consistent, and most importantly, try to have fun with it, or to simply say, don't create a burden on yourself. And also, if you are actually looking for a more beginner-friendly Python tutorials and project idea, hit the subscribe button because I've got some awesome stuff coming up. This is my first video on the channel, but I am thinking of creating some proper tutorial videos in this channel ranging from beginner-friendly to even advanced, and I think I should start off with a Python tutorial playlist. And if you like the video, if you like the things that I've said in the video and are looking for somewhere to learn Python from, then make sure to subscribe because I will be posting it quite soon. So check out for that. And yeah, that is it. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you want more videos like this or tutorials, then make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.